was the middle of summer during university break, and a group of us decided to head to the beach for the day. We were all excited, ready to soak up the sun, forget about the stress of exams for a while. But what happened before we even made it to the beach, and then again later that night, still sends chills down my spine to this day. It all started at a convenience store just outside of town. We were grabbing snacks, chips, candy, drinks. Nothing too exciting, just your typical beach trip essentials. But when we came out of the store, something was off. There was a man sitting on the hood of one of our cars. At first, we thought he was just some random guy hanging out. But when we asked him to move, he didn't say a word. He didn't even budge. He just sat there, head down, like he didn't even hear us. We asked again, this time a little more forcefully, "Hey man, get off the car." That's when he slowly, so slowly lifted his head. When his eyes met ours, that's when it hit me. Something was wrong. He had this eerie, wide grin plastered on his face, and his eyes were empty, like there was nothing behind them. In an eerie, calm, and low voice, he said, "You kiddies have a fun day now, won't you?" We all froze. I don't know why, but something about this guy just didn't seem right. We stood there for a moment, not sure what to do, and then instinct kicked in. We got in the car and sped off, not looking back. The beach was great though. We had a blast. The sun, the sand, the waves. It was everything we needed to forget about that weird encounter. But as the sun went down and we headed back home, that feeling of unease lingered. Around 11 o'clock that night, my best friend and I were watching scary movies at my place. We were in the middle of making popcorn in the kitchen when suddenly, a bang, a loud crash from the backyard. My heart nearly stopped. We both looked at each other, wide-eyed. Thinking it was just a stray animal, we flipped on the outside lights and stepped out onto the back porch. But as soon as the light hit the yard, my stomach dropped. There he was, the same man from the convenience store, just standing there in my backyard, staring at us with that same creepy grin. We both froze. He spoke, his voice dripping with that same unsettling calmness. "Hello, kiddies. How was your day at the beach?" We didn't even think. We just screamed, turned, and bolted inside the house. I locked the door behind us, and we ran straight to the kitchen, grabbing the closest knives we could find. We were terrified. I don't know why, but I had this feeling that if he got inside, something bad was going to happen. I immediately called the police, trying to keep my voice steady as I explained what was happening. They told me they'd be there in 45 minutes, but that felt like an eternity. The whole time, we just stood there, staring out the window, watching him in the yard. He didn't move. He didn't blink. He just stood there with that sick grin on his face. When the police finally arrived, we rushed to unlock the door. They immediately went out to check the yard, but when they reached the backyard, he was gone. There was no trace of him, no footprints, no sign of him leaving. It was like he had vanished into thin air. The officers called backup and started searching the entire neighborhood. They knocked on doors, checked alleys, and even searched the nearby woods. But the man was nowhere to be found. To this day, I have no idea who that guy was and why he had followed us. But I can't shake that feeling that something wasn't right with him. He was just some random creep? Or was he something worse? I still think about that night, and I'll never forget that grin. I just don't know what it means or what it meant, but I know I'll never feel as safe in that neighborhood or at night again. When I was around 10 or 12, I lived out in the country by a beautiful lake with my mom. It was one of those places where everything feels peaceful, quiet, and almost too perfect. But there was one night that I'll never forget. One night that shattered that sense of calm and left me questioning everything. It was a normal night, or at least I thought it was. I was fast asleep in my bed, the kind of deep sleep only kids can fall into, when suddenly my mom woke me up. I'll never forget the look on her face. She was pale, her eyes wide, and her voice shaky. I'd never seen her like that before. She leaned over, whispering to me, "You need to get up now." I was barely awake, but I could tell she was scared. "What was going on?" I asked, sitting up in my bed, rubbing my eyes. But before I could even get another word out, she was pulling me out of bed and guiding me towards the basement. "Stay down there and don't come out. I'll be right back," she told me. Her voice was trembling. I was confused, but I didn't argue. I was still half asleep, but something about the way she spoke sent a chill down my spine. There was something wrong. I didn't even question her when she pushed me into the cold, dimly lit basement. The only light was from an old bulb that flickered like it was struggling to stay on, and the house, it was completely silent, not a sound. I sat there trying to piece together what was happening. My mom had said she'd seen something in the sky, but I hadn't heard anything outside. It was too quiet, too still. It felt like the world outside had just frozen. Minutes passed, but it felt like hours. But I didn't dare go upstairs. I didn't know what was out there, but I knew my mom wouldn't have sent me down here if it wasn't serious. And then, just when I thought I might go crazy from the silence, I heard it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, like someone was walking around upstairs. I froze. Was it my mom? Was she coming to get me? But the footsteps, they didn't sound like hers. They didn't sound like anyone's. I sat there, scared, not able to move, my heart pounding in my chest. The footsteps stopped. The silence returned. I thought maybe it was all in my head. Maybe I was just freaking out. Or maybe I was just in the middle of a bad dream. But then I heard my mom's voice, low and rushed. "Come on, we're leaving now." I didn't ask questions. I didn't even wait for her to explain. I just followed her, sound of her voice, up the stairs, my legs shaky as if I was still in some kind of daze. She didn't say anything, but there was no mistaking the fear in her eyes. We rushed out of the house and straight to the car. I didn't dare look back, but I could feel something. Something was wrong. I kept thinking about those lights she had seen. Huge, bright, and hovering over the lake. No sound, just still, like they were watching us, waiting. We drove to my aunt's that night, and I stayed there with my mom. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I kept thinking about what had happened. What had my mom seen, and why didn't she ever talk about it again? The next day, everything seemed normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something had been out there that night, something we weren't supposed to see, and I still don't know what it was. Was it some kind of UFO, a freak weather phenomenon, or something else entirely? To this day, I still don't know, but I'll never forget the look on my mom's face, and I'll never forget how terrified she was. Thanks for watching, and if you have a story to share, email us at mindcodedean@gmail.com. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow, and it's completely free.